Plan ahead this Valentine's Day with 1-800-Flowers.com. From first dibs on great deals to the best selection of Valentine's Day roses and guaranteed delivery. Don't wait to wow. Right now, 1-800-Flowers is offering 24 assorted roses for $39.99. Or upgrade to 24 red roses for $10 more. Get right to the romance this Valentine's and find the way to wow with 1-800-Flowers.com. To order, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in.
Because we definitely don't want to miss that. Stunning Pam McSee, Don Hendrickson, Divine Don Hendrickson, Jeff A., what's happening, man? Terry Brown looking good tonight, man. And who else is joining us here? Donna Betts, welcome to our channel. Thank you for joining us. And Too Much Information, a.k.a. TMI. The gorgeous Itzy Zaza has returned. Jeff Steve Garvey, he'll hit a home run for you. Also sign an autograph as well. Fedora John, Oracle of the South, welcome to our channel. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Larry A., what's happening, man? The gorgeous Larry A., Sunsaver, thanks for coming on in, and we may run out of time here. No, we're not going to. The lovely Candy Romero, she has signed up for our Vegas trip, April 22nd to 24th, so make sure if you're interested in joining us for our fan get-together in Las Vegas, join us there. info@spacedoutradio.com to let us know. We're 30 seconds away. Hello, John Loban Creative. Welcome to our channel, all the way from Indiana. Thank you for coming on in. And just a reminder, the Super Chat is a great way to support what we do on this channel on a nightly basis. So thank you so much for those who take the time. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and we thank every veteran out there who tunes us in. You always have a safe home here with us. Guess what, people? It's time. Horns up. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Go to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on Twitter @Spaced Out Radio, Instagram @Spaced Out Radio Show, and now on TikTok @Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot. Read Shirky Poo's Newswire. Check out our swag as well. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on their website. Oh, man, we're going to board the woo train tonight. Miss Aida joins us. We're going to talk about curses, spells. We'll even mix in a little ghostly action here, just like a nice little spice on top. Then on hour number 3, we got Mr. Swamp Dweller going to join us tonight. Super Duke from World Bigfoot Radio brings in some monster talk. Shirky Poo has got the Newswire, and we got the Thought of the Dave as well. This is my first time interviewing Miss Aida, so I'm pretty excited about this. She's an author, teacher, and a witch. She was born into a Cuban family who practiced Santeria, Palo, and, I'm going to butcher this one, Brujeria, I believe. I don't know if that's a silent J or not. Brujeria? Brujeria sounds better. Anyways, the practice of magic has always been a part of her life. Brujeria? Yeah. Let's just stick with that. Miss Aida is a natural-born medium and a hoodoo practitioner. In addition to having received many initiations in Santeria and Palo, she is also a registered nurse and a proud United States Air Force veteran. She holds a master's degree, a world-renowned authority on hoodoo, and she has published several books on this topic. If you want to check out her website, all you do is go to missaida.com, and boom, she's going to be right there. And we also have to note for our audience, if you hear puppies whining in the background, Miss Aida just got herself a pair of beautiful little puppies. They are sleeping right now, so we got to keep quiet. Miss Aida, welcome to Spaced Out Radio. How are you?
Thank you. Fine. It's brujeria. Hedia.
Well, I'm Canadian, okay? I'm just going to blame being Canadian on that one. Brujeria. Brujeria. There we go. Anyways.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. Perfect.
How are you tonight?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me. It's nice to meet all of you out there. I can't see the chat room, just so you know.
That's okay.
So
You'll
tell me the questions, right?
Of course. When we got questions an hour or two, I will get them for you. I want to learn just a little bit about you. You're a proud United States Air Force veteran, so thank you so much for your service and everything that you've done, and especially being a registered nurse through the pandemic. I'll give you a few claps for being a hero for many people out there, so thank you for that as well. Yet, I always like to know this of professional people such as yourself. Do you hide your gifts and everything from the people you work with?
I tried, but people would see through me all the time, and I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, the whole hospital. She's a witch. People just know. I mean, I've had people walk up to me and just say, "You're a witch," just out of the clear blue sky. People know.
And you're like, "Oh my God, I am? I am? What's going on here? Nobody told me."
When you work in the emergency room and then in administration, there isn't a lot of time for chit-chat all about it. And I'll just shrug my shoulders and walk away. What else are you going to do?
That's all you can do. That's all you can do. Now, what's it like being a witch?
I don't know. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, for the majority of us out there, we have no idea what it's like to be a witch or Wiccan or whatever you call yourself.
Yeah. So a witch, one doesn't have to be a Wiccan. I'm not a Wiccan. So
Okay.
I'm not a pagan. I believe in the Catholic entities, and witches can be of different faiths, and we don't have to be Wiccans. Wiccans are, what's the word? They're pagan. They're pagan. They have many gods and goddesses. I don't. I have God the Father and the Son Jesus Christ and the Virgin Mary and all the Catholic saints. So that's the difference for me. And if you go around the world, you have witches in every single country. They're not Wiccans, they're witches.
How does one become a witch?
You always wanted to become a witch.
No, how does one become a witch?
I don't know. I was born into a family that practiced this, and I was a born witch myself. I remember everybody used to tell me, "You're a witch, you're a witch." My mother was a witch, my grandmother, my uncles, my aunts, everybody. So it's normal. I don't feel any different than anybody else. I really don't. And I tell people all the time, when we're praying to God or when we're praying to the saints, prayer is a form of witchcraft. You're lighting candles, you're stating a petition or asking for something. I think prayer is another word for witchcraft. I really do.
Oh, could very well be. Could very well be. You having a very spiritual side to yourself, obviously you have been someone who is committed to helping people your entire life. I mean, whether it's through mediumship, whether it's through hoodoo, whether it's through you being a veteran of the United States Air Force and now as a registered nurse, would that be an accurate assessment of who you are?
I think so. And the interesting thing, my name, Aida, is interpreted to help. Isn't that weird that that's my name and it means to help? I just think that's incredible. So yes, I think that's my mission in life, is to try and help people.
What do you get out of it on a personal level?
Satisfaction. It's a rush when somebody has a problem, whether it's a spiritual problem or a physiological problem, whatever. It's a rush. It's like a high when you've helped someone and you've accomplished that mission. I don't know. It's a feeling of gratification.
So with that gratification that you get from it, give us an example of how you were able to help somebody with your abilities, because there's a lot of, especially today with the world being the way it is, there's a lot of pain out there. There's a lot of suffering. There's a lot of uneasiness, tension, and stress. How have you been able to help people over the last couple of years kind of calm their nerves and just let them be themselves?
So I wrote a book. It's called Hoodoo Cleansing and Protection Magic. And the reason I wrote that book, it was just incredible that it came out when the pandemic came out. That was really bizarre, okay? Because I had written that book a year earlier, but by the time it goes through the editor and the publisher and blah, 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 it takes a while. So I think the pandemic was officially a pandemic in February of that year, and my book came out in August. I didn't write the book because of the pandemic. I wrote the book because I got sick and tired of people getting screwed over. And they would call pseudo metaphysical practitioners and they pay them thousands and thousands of dollars to help them. And nothing would help them. And they just keep dishing out money. And they're still within their own misery. So I wrote a book explaining to people what causes all these negative feelings and all these, why are you attracting negative people? Why are you having a run of bad luck? Why is it that it just gets worse and worse? And this is how it happened. This is how you fix it. This is how you prevent it from happening again. I want people to be able to help themselves. And this book is perfect for any type of negative energies or entities that may be bestowed on somebody and causing them to suffer. Being a nurse, I was very fortunate that I am a nurse at that time because I could explain the psychological, the physiological, and the spiritual connections with everything. And it feels good. It feels good. I've had so many people contact me and just to thank me. And that's a really cool feeling. You know, it's like, yeah, I've helped. I don't know how many books I've sold. I think maybe 10,000. It's a good feeling that I've helped these people and I've prevented them from paying others to do something that they can fix themselves. And there you have it.
How do people fix themselves, okay? Like, I'm very open about my suffering from anxiety and depression. Today, I was worked up, and I don't usually get this worked up, but today it hit me, and I felt like I didn't even know if I was going to be able to do the show earlier. Because it felt,
oh, wow.
It just tightens your stomach right up where you think you're going to vomit. That's the feeling I was having, a few hours ago. But I mean, in the end, the show must go on, and we got to keep rolling. We got good people who are listening. We got radio stations that we need to make sure this show gets live to. So I mean, how do you combat that negative energy or that anxious energy that seems to be taking over more and more of us these days?
Well, the first thing that I always advise is to see a physician. Always, always. That's the very first thing you do. And, there might be a physiological problem, but you have to understand that your spiritual, your emotional, and your your physiological aspects of being a human being are all connected and interrelated. So, I mean, there's many ways. There's not a quick fix. It isn't a quick fix. You have to understand the pathophysiology of what the problem is. What is the core problem? So I give lots and lots of examples of what it could be. And in your case, I don't know what it is. I mean, is this a long-term ailment that you've had?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I
was first diagnosed in 2013.
Pardon me?
I was first diagnosed in 2013.
With what?
Depression and anxiety.
Okay. So something brought that on. You know, at some point you had numerous negative events that just built up and built up and built up and piled on you. And it's affected your aura. It's affected, which in turn affects your emotional health. And you probably have physiological problems. You know, you might have stomach problems. You might have cardiovascular problems. I don't know. But the problem is that when you keep getting these negative stimuli and they pile on and they pile on, and the way I explain it is we have an aura, right? Everybody has an aura. And when you have negative events, it just suppresses your aura. It's almost like, you know, picture negative energies being garbage, right? And it's thrown on your aura, and it just weakens your aura and weakens your aura and weakens your aura. And then you get tears and holes, right? So you have to repair all of that. In your case, because it's a long-term event, and it was probably numerous negative events that caused this to begin with, right? You probably have a suppressed aura, which has affected your emotional health and your physiological health. So you have to start somewhere to fix this. And I have all those, I don't want to say remedies, but ways to improve your physiological, spiritual, and emotional health. You can't do it overnight. It won't happen overnight. You have to work on it. You know, and I'm sure you've been told a zillion times to try and meditate. And that's all fine and well, and I do believe in that, but I don't think that's where the starting point is. I really don't. You know, you have to understand, and the way that I explain it in the book, it will tell you, the book will tell you what has happened to you.
What about psychic attacks?
Psychic attacks. So can you ask Kara, please, to be more specific?
Yeah, she'll be able to hear you. But with psychic attacks, you know, where it's either spiritual, metaphysical, whether it's aliens, whether it's other people, whether it's, you know, curses or anything like that. We're going to get into curses a little bit later on in the program. But, you know, what about people who are attacking your spirituality, your aura, your energy? You know, almost like succubuses and incubuses.
Okay, so are you asking me about people, or are you asking about the succubus and the incubus?
Well, let's start off with the succubus and incubus.
Okay. What would you like to know specifically about that? Because initially you asked me about people, and then you went to...
Well, I'm generalizing the entire topic here. Okay, so Kira has said, in reference to you, Dave, at Spaced Out Radio, directing energy at people. Okay, so basically what Kira's saying is that we are, you know, with this show, I'm continually out there. I'm continually, you know, pushing, you know, energy out to people, and you know that may hit people negatively at times.
Okay, all right. How would you? Okay, I'm confused. So, a psychic attack for me would mean that it means a few things, because I think I'm all over the place here. So for me, a psychic attack is interpreted as either you're getting all these premonitions that won't stop, or you're getting entities that keep bothering you, or you hearing voices, you're seeing things, okay? But they all manifest. That to me is a psychic attack. All right. That is different from somebody throwing, and we say throwing, when somebody's cursing you, putting a negative spell on you, okay? That's not a psychic attack. That's someone throwing negative energies at you. That's a whole different ball game. An incubus and a succubus, those are, in my opinion, those are demonic entities. And what made you vulnerable to this? And again, I even cover that in my book, The Incubus and the Succubus. So if your aura suppressed, if you're getting negative events, so let's just say hypothetically, and God forbid, I hope this isn't true, but let's just say that these psychic attacks are negative entities that are initially trying to seduce you by giving you predictions, and then they come true, right? Now we're getting into a different area. We're getting into, is something trying to possess you? Because there's 3 stages to a demonic possession. And the first, and I covered that in my book too. So, the first stage is, you're going to hear all these predictions and they come true. It's a way to seduce you and to get you to be receptive to their presence. Now, if you're being attacked by an incubus or a succubus, and for those that don't know what that is, so
Ray Magliozzi here. The tear in my driver's seat does have sentimental value since my butt's molded to fit it. But I'm ready for a new one from eBay Motors with all the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them. Till then, I'll just scooch. eBay Motors, let's ride.
Plan ahead this Valentine's Day with 1-800-Flowers.com. From first dibs on great deals to the best selection of Valentine's Day roses and guaranteed delivery. Don't wait to wow. Right now, 1-800-Flowers is offering 24 assorted roses for $39.99. Or upgrade to 24 red roses for $10 more. Get right to the romance this Valentine's and find the way to wow with 1-800-Flowers.com. To order, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in.
incubus is a male entity that has sex with someone, and a succubus is a female entity that has sex with someone. Okay, what were all the events that made you open to these circumstances? Did you invite them? Did you willingly invite them? Or have you been so suppressed with so many negative things that these negative entities were able to enter your field and into your life? So we're all over the place here. You understand? We're either talking about psychic attacks, or we're talking about people throwing negative energies or even entities at you, or if you're in such a vulnerable state that you're being attacked by sex demons. It's still the same thing, all in all. No matter what I'm talking about, if I'm talking about possessions or anything like that, it's still the same thing. Your aura has been suppressed. And the more suppressed it is, if you get holes and tears, then negative entities, they can enter.
So how do you...
Does that make any sense?
Absolutely. So how do you protect yourself from these events, whether it's spiritual or whether it's from other people who you've surrounded yourself with?
Well, I mean, the stronger the aura, the harder it is for people to penetrate it. And, now I'm going the opposite way. And then I'll get back to your question. So, I wrote a book called, I've written quite a few books, but I've written a book on cursing and crossing. It's called Cursing and Crossing. I've written a book called Hoodoo Justice Magic. So I have a lot of spells in there that can harm people, but I always specify over and over and over that these spells have to be justified. But the way I explain it is, if a person has a nice, healthy aura, you're going to have to keep putting spells or placing spells on them, because it's just like you're putting straws on a camel's back. So if the camel is nice and strong, that being the person, then you're going to have to keep piling on straws and piling on straws and piling on straws until you weaken the camel's back, and then you break it. It's the same principle. Okay,
Right.
You're suppressing the aura until you get holes and tear.
I'm going to get you to hold on right there, Miss Aida, as we are going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. We're going to get into curses. We're going to get into spells. How can we protect ourselves? How do we know we're cursed? When we return on Spaced Out Radio next. It's going to be a fun half hour. All right, we're clear. And I'll just say a quick hello to Lester Taylor. Thanks for joining us. Cecil, my man, how you doing? Thanks for coming on in. And Mr. Catfish, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. And we'll take more questions from you guys in hour number 2, of course. And, yeah, it's a good time so far. Good time so far. Let's see here. Just give me 1 sec. Joe wants to smoke a cigarette with you.
Uh-oh, I forgot. They can see me. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's all right. I vape.
Okay, now I don't feel so bad.
Very, very okay with me. That's okay. Hi, gorgeous Ronnie over on Spreaker. How are you? And who is over on Facebook tonight? The stunning Manitoba Becky. Penman! How you doing, Penman? How's your fountain pens tonight? He's only got like 18,000 of them. Something like that. It's ridiculous. And who else? Anybody else join? Tom, how are you? Honeydew cucumber menthol. That sounds good. I'm on orange ice. Orange ice. I ran out of pineapple. Pineapple's my favorite, which is weird because I don't eat pineapple at all. Heavy Water Tread, how are you? Thanks for joining us. right, we've got about 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Lovely Lauren, good to see you. Yes, the best comment of the night so far. Thank you, Grantavius. My hair does look amazing tonight. Apollo 11, thanks for joining us. I may leave that comment up for the rest of the night. Navajo, how you doing, buddy? Toe Tag says, from one vet to another, thank you for your service. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you for your service, too.
Yes. We love our veterans around here. We really do.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. So many people that are anti-military. It just makes me crazy.
All right. We got about 1 minute here coming up. The gorgeous Avi May, thank you for coming on in. Who told me to get a haircut there? Dale Mills, former Marine. How are you, buddy? I'm not getting a haircut. If I do, I'll lend you some. How about that? That way you don't have to be jealous. I'm teasing. All right, everybody, I want to say a big thank you to Larry, Grantavius, and Quetzalcoatl for the amazing super chats. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis, so thank you so much. And don't forget, San Francisco UFOCon 2022, March 25th to 27th. Lynn and I will both be there. Here we go. Second half hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate it. Want to remind you that if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot, reading Shirky Poo's Newswire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and now on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. Miss Aida is here. We're talking curses and spells this half hour as we are going to get deep into it. You can find all of our books online and on our website, missaida.com. How are you? Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. May I say that I'm just very touched by all the comments about the military and being a veteran, and it really touches my heart. I'm almost in tears. Thank you for supporting the military. Thank you for saying that you love the military, and for those that have served, thank you for your service. This is just so beautiful. It's bringing tears to my eyes. I've just never felt so welcomed for having been a vet. Usually I get the opposite. There's so many anti-military people out there.
Well,
so thank you so much.
We love our veterans around here. We always say to our veterans in our chat rooms and people listening in, all veterans always have a safe home with us in our chat room. And, God bless each and every one of you. That is for sure. The toughest question you're going to get tonight, I don't normally ask questions until hour number 2, but you got a pair of new puppies. So, what kind of puppies did you get according to its...
Do you want me to show one of them?
Well,
you want me to bring one?
The radio audience isn't going to be able to see them, so maybe just describe
that's true. Okay. They're white German Shepherd dogs.
Beautiful.
I do have black and tan. I do have a black and tan, but a German Shepherd's a German Shepherd. And I especially love the white ones because there's a saying amongst the white German Shepherd dog owners, and we all know it, is there is no dog on the planet that will love you more than a white German Shepherd dog. So
I may have
there you go.
I may have to argue with that a little bit, but just on a fun level, because I have a pure black German Shepherd, and he is the biggest family suck that I know, and he kind of always has those eyes of, you can love me, it's okay, you can love me, and we're like, we do love you, and he's like, do you love me? And I'm like, yes, we love you, and then we have this.
Well, he's still a German Shepherd. Yeah, German Shepherds rule, absolutely. I've had German Shepherds since I was 12 years old. I've never had any other breed, and I love them. And I have titled many dogs in Schutzen, which is a sport of tracking obedience and protection. And it's a fun sport. It's hard, but it's fun. And it's a great bonding experience. But I love the dogs. Love them, love them. Oh, I love all animals, to be honest with you.
Me too. We're a big dog and cat family here. That is for sure. So
that's fantastic.
Moving on from dogs and dog love, because I could literally talk about dogs all night long. Okay. Curses. We're all afraid of curses. We, ever since you read your first Disney books or whomever, you get introduced to curses pretty young as a child, and yet these are very, very real. These can, break up relationships, cause a lot of strife on people, a lot of stress. I personally have been cursed once. The curse was removed. And, it's just not fun to use that kind of power against someone. So explain to us who may not know what curses are all about.
So a curse is, you can call it hexing, you can call it throwing shade. There's different vocabulary for the same thing, but it's throwing negative events at another person. And basically that's what it is. And there's many ways to do it. In my book, Hoodoo Justice Magic, I even have psalms. There are psalms designed specifically for cursing somebody. Yes. So I don't believe in cursing anyone unless it's justified. And the punishment has to be equal to the crime. I don't believe that if you call me a bad name or a dirty word, that I should kill you or have you hit by a car. That's not justified. So the punishment has to be equal to the crime. But it's throwing negative events or throwing negative entities at another person. Going back to the first half hour when I was talking about straws breaking a camel's back, right? It would apply to how many times have people thrown a curse at somebody and it didn't work. Okay, so there's a lot of reasons that a spell won't work. But if you're justified and you're doing something and it doesn't seem to be working, you got to keep doing it over and over and over. So keep piling those straws on the camel's back until you suppress that person's aura and tear it or create holes.
Why would someone want to place a curse on someone?
Justice. I mean, for me, it would be justice. It would be equal justice. But I mean, people curse, unfortunately. I think they do it for self-gratification, for amusement, or overreacting to something, or if they have a poor self-esteem and they've been mildly insulted or a little negative event happened to them and they want that person to die. There's a whole bunch of reasons. But again, I stress over and over and over that it ought to be justified. Now, curses and magic spells don't backfire. There's a lot of fears out there that a curse will backfire. A curse won't backfire. What happens when you perform a curse is you're also in the line of fire. So you have to protect yourself, right? You have to protect yourself from whatever energies you're creating and outputting. So that's what happens. Now, let's just say hypothetically, I got mad at Jane Doe and I put a death spell on her, which isn't justified. And she dies. Okay. Something's going to come back to me. It's not backfiring, but something's going to come back to me because I did something that was very, very wrong and unjustified. So it's not that it backfires. Spells don't backfire. It can come back to haunt you, if you will, if you place an unjustified curse on another person. I really stress in my book, Hoodoo Justice Magic, that there are 3 specific psalms that are designed for cursing because the psalms that are written in the Hebrew Bible and the Old Testament of the Christian Bible are actually spells. They're spell recipes. What I like about those psalms is you're working with God. And what does God say? Revenge is mine, saith the Lord. So if you're telling God what happened, what this person did to you, God will take care of you.
Okay.
And the event.
All right. So how does jealousy and rage work for people who are putting curses on others?
How does jealousy and rage?
Like, give you an example. When I was cursed, the person who put the curse on me was very jealous of the ET contact that I was having and the other phenomena that was happening to me at that time, because she wanted to be the center of attention, and here I am not knowing what the hell is going on, and she is the one, she didn't like it that all of the things that she wanted to be happening to her were happening to me.
Okay, so let's pretend that we're not talking about curses. Let's pretend that we're talking about a battlefield, okay? And you have something that she wanted, right? So what does she do? She gets rid of you. And that's what it sounds like to me. If she gets rid of you, then she can take all that glory. That would be one example to shut you up so that she can stand, and at the limelight and be the center of attention. I've seen that happen a lot.
Does the negativity that is thrown in with that curse take effect on the person who places the curse as well?
Okay, so that goes back to, did I protect myself when I threw a curse at Jane Doe, right? If she's got a strong aura and a strong will, I don't know who this person is or what, anything about this, but if she's got a very, very strong aura and a very strong will, no, she's not going to be affected by that curse, right? Of the actual curse that's going out. However, it will come back to haunt her because she's not justified. Something or someone will, unforeseen, right? A guardian angel, a spirit guide, a good entity.
Socks are the #1 most requested item in homeless shelters. Underwear is the second, shirts are third. At Bombas, socks were first, made with comfortable details for everyday wearing. Then underwear and shirts too, all designed to perfectly fit. At Bombas, every item you purchase means you're donating an essential clothing item to someone in need. One comfortable clothing item for you, one donated to someone in need. Bombas, comfort for all. Get 20% off your purchase at bombas.com/comfy.
If you love to be remembered as the person who gives the best birthday gifts, I'm here to tell you that 1-800-Flowers.com is your ultimate birthday gifting destination. 1-800-Flowers has thoughtful and artfully created options that are guaranteed to deliver the best birthday surprise. Shop thousands of unique gifts at 1-800-Flowers.com for exclusive offers and great values. To order today, visit 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in.
Something is going to happen to that person eventually. It may take time, but it just always happens that they eventually fall. And I'm sorry this happened to you. I'm so very sorry. Let me ask you something. Did this happen before you became depressed?
Around the same time.
So, I mean, that may have been the event that tore into your aura and made you vulnerable. Remember I said in the beginning that, spiritual and psychological and physiological are all interconnected. Okay. You may still be having the aftermath of that curse. You may be suffering the aftermath.
Could be. But there's a lot of people out there, though, who take a lot of things on their own shoulders as well.
Oh, yes.
And I just haven't been able to figure out the difference.
Okay. So, you may want to think about repairing. You told me that the curse was removed. How was it removed?
Oh, I had it removed back in 2015.
And you had someone else do it, or
yeah.
Can I ask you what they did?
I don't even remember. There was a lot of meditation, a lot of black salt, a lot of white salt, a lot of garlic powder and hors d'oeuvres, and it got me hungry, to be honest. But a lot of Reiki, a lot of meditation, breathing. Yeah.
Okay. So, it's really good to remove a curse. It really, and it will work, but you have to have some sort of protection on you to maintain that cleansing.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying to you? Otherwise, some of this negativity could come back to you. So in the way I explain it is like this. If I go outside and I'm playing in the mud or walking in the mud and I come in and I've got mud all over me and I take a shower, right? And I get rid of that mud, and that's comparable to the curse, right? To the negative event. And then I get out of the shower, and instead of putting on some sort of protective gear like boots and a raincoat, and I go back outside into the mud without that protective gear, I'm going to get dirty again. So cleansing is wonderful and getting rid of it is wonderful, but you have to maintain some sort of protection. And you can do that with prayer, ongoing prayer. You can do it with protective amulets. There's roots, herbs. There's oils. There's, I'm a strong believer in holy water, especially the holy water from Lourdes, France, that came from the grotto. And oils. You can get holy oil. You can get that at a church, right? You've got to have something to keep you protected.
Very true. Very true. And, most people, though, do not understand how to protect themselves? And I realize you just mentioned, crystals and other things that go along the line. But, I mean, this has the ability to affect everyday lives of people if a curse is placed on them. How will they even know if they've been cursed or not?
Oh God, there's a long list. You can have nightmares. You can have sequences of lots of appliances breaking down. You can get a feeling that somebody's watching you. You could just have one bad thing after another happen to you. There's all kinds of sleeplessness, anxiety, restlessness. Your other people will react negatively towards you, or they will avoid you. Not that they know what's going on, but they can sense something with your aura. They can subconsciously sense this. You can have, unfortunately, and this will happen, what we say, taking a hit. So sometimes a pet will take the hit for you. Another way you can tell is if you have protective jewelry and that jewelry breaks or falls off, it's taking a hit. So you could have one negative event after another. You can just feel like something's really wrong, but it always feels, always that you're surrounded by a dark cloud. And I'll tell you what that dark cloud is. That's your aura being suppressed with all this garbage on it, being the negative events, the negative energies, okay? That's what that dark cloud actually is. You're actually feeling the negative energies that have piled onto you. I have a whole list, and I could talk for an hour just on how do you know if you're cursed. You'll have, just like I said, one bad event after another. But, don't think that, oh, my dishwasher broke, I'm cursed. It would have to be one after another. Don't think because you got into an accident that you're cursed. But if you get into several accidents, yeah, something's wrong, along with the other stuff.
Okay, so Mike brings up a comment here. He says, seems like my life is never-ending bad things. Maybe I am cursed.
Maybe you are cursed, or maybe because you say, what you say is what you bring, right? And if you're saying all these bad things are happening to you, putting this out into the universe, you're attracting more of the same, right? So you have to, at some point, start thinking positively, laughing at things. And if the bad things continue, then maybe something's going on. Maybe it isn't a curse. Maybe you've just attracted so much auric garbage, right? Negative energies that you could feel as if you're cursed. It's kind of the same feeling. And you can actually do it to yourself. I'll give you an example. And this happens a lot, okay? Let's just say I go to, and I'm always using Jane Doe. I'm always using that. And when I do my live events on my Facebook, all my followers go, oh, here we go again with Jane Doe. But let's just say Jane Doe goes to, and this happens a lot, I'm telling you, it's a lot. Jane goes to a fraud practitioner, right? And that practitioner wants money. You're cursed. And if you don't give me this money, I won't remove the curse. Or if you don't give me this money, I'll curse you. Or the implication of a curse. Now, this person doesn't know how to curse, right? But this person knows how to play a mind game. What happens if you're a believer, if you believe that this pseudo practitioner is cursing you? You're going to curse yourself, right? you're going to suppress your own aura. And what I've said over and over is that negativity begets negativity. The same thing with positive things, right? So what happens, you're weakening your aura, you're attracting more negativity, you're convinced that you're cursed, and sure enough, you'll curse yourself. You will actually do it. So, Mike, you need to start thinking positively, and maybe think about cleansing your aura and doing some protective magic, or even just the amulets or whatever, and see if that can help you. And if nothing seems to help, it could be a curse. Now, in the book Hoodoo Cleansing and Protection Magic, I tell people how to remove a curse. It's not a one-step process. Okay, you have to. It's a lot of work, but it's effective.
All right. Can people, we only got about a minute left here, but can people just have bad luck? And that's what it is. Maybe not a curse, just bad luck. Maybe it's karmic, maybe
Absolutely.
It's not.
I don't believe it's karmic. I believe they're bringing it on themselves. You have one event of bad luck, two events of bad luck, and then you get paranoid, and what do? You're attracting more bad luck. Because you're looking for it. Oh my God, what's going to happen to me next? And it happens. What's that law? Murphy's Law. Everything that goes wrong can go wrong. You can reverse that.
Right. All right. Well, on that note, I'm going to get you to hold on right there, because we are going to go to break here at the top of the hour, and we'll continue. And I know the audience questions are going to line up here, because there's a lot of people who may have some questions about everything we've said in hour number one. Miss Aida is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. She's an author. She's a witch. She's got some good woo and fantastic hair. Her books can be found online. Her website, missaida.com. So check it on out. We'll be back with hour two of Spaced Out Radio coming up next. All right, we're clear.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
How's the interview going? Is it okay?
We're going great. We're going fantastic here.
I can't believe the puppies have been so good. They're passed out. I'm thrilled to death. Oh no, they're not. The boy is awake. He's just giving me a dirty look, like, why am I stuck in this cage?
Hey, Trippy Times, Josh, how are you? Thanks for joining us. Who else has come on here that snuck on in? Let's see. Brazelhoff, how you doing, buddy? And hey, Super Duke, I sent you a message on MeWe. And let's see here. All right, we'll start off with Larry here. We'll wait until we're back on the air, okay? Mm-hmm. Noble Patrick, how are you, man? Good to see you. I'm having a good time tonight. Thank you. Vintage Beard, how are you, buddy? Let's see here. see here. We're getting requests to see a puppy.
Now? Okay.
Sure. If that's okay. You got to see this dog. This dog is so cute. You're just going to want to squish him. Look at that little puppy.
Here's the boy. Here's the boy. Here's the boy. Oh! This is Jacob, Jakob. He's 8 weeks old. Look how big he is. He weighs a ton. 8 weeks old.
Oh, he's so cute. He is so cute. You say, "Oh, Mom, I like kisses."
He's the first one that wants to come out.
He is so adorable.
I'm trying to get him to look at the camera. I don't know how to do this. Wait a minute. Hold on. Oh. Okay. There.
Look.
There we go. Now we got it.
Look how cute he is. He's like, "Oh,
He looks like a little
shucks."
polar bear.
He's like, "Oh, shucks. I am cute. You're right. I am so cute."
He's got lipstick all over him for some strange
Oh,
reason.
that's okay. Sovereign Farts, how are you tonight? Want to remind each and every one of you that UFOCon 2022 in San Francisco, March 25th to 27th, both Lynn Wallington and I will be in San Francisco speaking at that event. So if you can't make Vegas in April, we'd love to see you in San Francisco. And then, of course, the Vegas party, April 22nd to 24th. We're getting our swag bags starting to get ready here. And if you're 100% going and you want a swag bag, what you got to do is go to info@spacedoutradio.com. Tell us, "Yes, Dave, I'm going to be there," and we will get a swag bag for you. How about that? It's just that easy. So, San Francisco in March, end of March. April, it's Vegas. July, it's Denver, Colorado, where I will be speaking at the MUFON Symposium, July 8th through 10th. It's where Thin Lizzy and Mr. Thin Lizzy and myself are going to hang out and eat some of them tacos that are down there. Oh yeah, I saw those artery cloggers. I'm getting excited for that. Kingston, how are you? I want to say a big thank you to Larry, Grantavius, and Quetzal for the amazing super chats. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show. So thank you so much. And Tangerina, how are you? Thank you for coming on in. And Stephen Finnegan, good morning to you from the UK. And yeah, here comes hour number 2, everyone. Don't forget to put your questions in capital letters. That really helps old Davey out. So we're going to get going here in just a few seconds.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter @Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. Good to have you with us along for the ride tonight. Want to say hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. A coordinate is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers. As the Clam says, sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot. Read up on Shirky Poo's Newswire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and now on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. We continue the conversation tonight with author, researcher, resident witch, registered nurse, Miss Aida is here with us. We're loving her energy tonight. Absolutely loving it. And her website, missaida.com. And you can find all of her books online. Miss Aida, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Good
to be back.
We're going to get into some audience questions here with you. And start off with Larry, who is asking, how can you get rid of aura garbage?
So there's a lot of ways to do it. First of all, take vitamins. Take a multivitamin. You got to cleanse the inside as well as the outside. And I always suggest to drink nettle tea. Nettle, Nettle. So buy the herb and make tea, drink that. It cleanses you spiritually, and it also has antibacterial properties. I highly recommend that you spray yourself with Florida water, spray yourself with holy water, shower with sulfur soap, shower with ruse soap. Anytime you have a negative event, any little thing, like say, I'll give you an example. Here was a little event that really affected me. So I was at the library, and this was 2 years ago, right before the pandemic. And I'm deaf in my left ear because when I was in the Air Force, I was in aeromedical evacuation. I couldn't hear if I wanted to hear my patients or if I wanted to hear my students, because I was also an instructor, I would lift up my headgear, and the airplanes were very loud, and it eventually caused deafness in that ear. So I tend to talk louder. Why do we talk louder? Because we're not sure if somebody's hearing us or not. And there was a man.
80% of our world's plastic ends up as trash, in landfills or in the ocean. Thankfully, Miranda Wang is working on a solution to upcycle our old plastic and give it a new, useful life. Hear her amazing story on Planet Visionaries, a new podcast from Rolex and the Washington Post, hosted by me, Alex Honnold. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts.
Plan ahead this Valentine's Day with 1-800-Flowers.com. From first dibs on great deals to the best selection of Valentine's Day roses and guaranteed delivery. Don't wait to wow. Right now, 1-800-Flowers is offering 24 assorted roses for $39.99. Or upgrade to 24 red roses for $10 more. Get right to the romance this Valentine's and find the way to wow with 1-800-Flowers.com. To order, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in.
That was trying to read, and I was with my math tutor, and I was talking loud. And this man really got mad. He just stands up, gives me this dirty look. I mean, oh my God. And I felt it. It actually penetrated me. And he gets up and he leaves. And my math tutor's talking to me, and I can't even hear her because that event, which by the way was the evil eye, right? I couldn't stop thinking about it. And it was affecting me. It even increased my heart rate. And I couldn't pay attention. So, after about 3 or 4 minutes, I realized he had placed the evil eye on me. He didn't intentionally say I'm cursing this woman. He was just giving me a dirty look, but it was the evil eye. I always carry holy water in my purse, and I always carry Florida water. And I was so nervous, so nervous. I couldn't concentrate anything. When it hit me what was going on, I pulled the Florida water and I sprayed myself. And then I pulled out the holy water and I sprayed myself. And just like that, bada boom, bada bing, I was fine. So I got rid of that garbage. Now, I mean, if you've got a whole bunch where your aura is suppressed, you're going to have to do other things also. But that's a good start. And make sure that you pray Psalm 91. It's a great protection prayer. Always pray aloud. Always pray aloud, because sound is energy and the entities can hear you. When you go to bed at night, because we were talking about an incubus and a succubus, when you go to bed at night, pray Psalm 121. That keeps away negative entities. And in fact, I'm going to be on the Discovery Channel later this year, but I had to close a portal. And I prayed Psalm 121 aloud, because it commands these things to go back to where they came from and not to come back to you. So the book has all kinds of remedies, and it just depends on how suppressed your aura is, Larry. If it's a one-time event like it happened to me, or, if I get into an argument, let's just say hypothetically, I had a husband and I got into an argument with him, and it was just like a little petty thing, right? Those energies can also stick to inanimate objects. So you might want a sage if it's something minimal, right? If it's something really bad, say you've got negative entities in the house, or you're attracting them, then you might want to use Tibetan ghost purging incense. You may want to cleanse your house, because the way I explain it in the book, and because I have German Shepherds and we have people out there that love German Shepherds shed like crazy. German Shepherd dogs, as you know, Dave, German Shepherd dogs have 2 coats, right? So we get double the hair. So I explain it this way. Not if, there's no if, they are going to shed hair. So if I don't clean up right away, what's going to happen? That dog hair is going to pile and pile and pile, right? It's going to be in the air, it's going to be everywhere, and it's going to be a mess. So you have to cleanse. The same principle applies with negative energies, okay? The particles can stick to your environment, so you need to cleanse that environment also. And I have recipes in there. You don't have to go out and spend a fortune.
All right,
I hope that answered that question.
Let's get to another question from Anne, who is asking if you've ever worked with Umim and Thummim.
No, don't even know what that is.
Me either.
I'm sorry.
All right. Toe Tag is asking, my grandmother would sprinkle salt around the house for protection and silver dimes around ankles to prevent someone from placing a curse on our family. Does that still work today?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Those are old hoodoo remedies. And the silver dime around the ankle, that is actually so that if you're stepping on something. So there's something called, and leave that question up so I can address everything,
sure,
please. So, there's some, we say laying tricks. Laying tricks is contact magic. So let's just say I wanted to curse Jane Doe, and I lay out a cursing ingredient like goo for dust or whatever, so that when she walks over it, right, she is now cursed. So the dime around the ankle is to protect yourself when you walk over something that is cursed. Okay, so yes, that's really cool, toe tag. Yes, yes. And the salt, everybody uses salt. Salt is a great, great, great element for protection. And, salt does a lot of things. So it can protect, it can get rid of negative energies. Salt is wonderful. Salt will also protect you against negative entities. Also, yes, yes, these things are still practiced. Okay.
All right, ready to move on?
Yes.
All right, we ask most of our guests this question. What's your opinion of eating breakfast foods for dinner?
I love it because I don't eat breakfast. I love it.
I'm going to put a curse on you now.
I love breakfast food, but I can't eat breakfast. Most Europeans and Latin people, we weren't raised eating breakfast, but I like breakfast food. So yeah, I'll have that sometimes.
Oh, that's just terrible. Just terrible.
Hey, wouldn't like steak and eggs or nice toast with butter and strawberry preserves on it?
There is a reason why breakfast foods are called breakfast foods, because they are for breakfast, not for dinner time.
Okay.
All right, let's get to Grantavius here, because we're going to agree to disagree on that one, and the gloves may come off. Miss Aida, are you able to predict natural abilities that one's aura radiates?
So are you asking me that if I see somebody, if I'm able to predict their abilities? I don't understand the question.
Well, the question is, if you're looking at somebody, can you say, oh, yeah, that person's got some gift. That one's got some
yeah,
that one's...
Of course, yes. Of course. There's another way to tell. There's a lot of ways to tell. But, yeah, absolutely.
So how do you tell?
You just know. I just know. I can see the aura. I can see the if it radiates or not. I can tell by the way they're talking. But most importantly, you look into their eyes. And the eyes are the windows of the soul, and they speak volumes. So when I do readings for people, I will always ask them to please email me a picture with your eyes showing. And what I do is I cover the faces, and I just look at the eyes, and it tells me a lot. Absolutely. Haven't been wrong yet.
All right. Nicola is wondering, can a curse be put on a family or just an individual?
Yes, you can put a curse on a family. It's called a generational curse. And a great example would be the Kennedys. I know a lot of you are so young that you don't know the Kennedys, but President John F. Kennedy, that's the Kennedy family I'm talking about. So the father of John Kennedy, he was a bootlegger, and I believe that's where it started. That's how he made his riches. And I really believe he double-crossed a lot of people, and eventually someone cursed him and his family. So look what happened to John Kennedy. He was killed. His brother Robert Kennedy was killed. Bad things happened to Ted Kennedy. And then John Kennedy's son, I think his name was JJ, John Jr., all kinds of horrible tragedies have happened to the males in that family. So yes, it's called a generational curse.
Okay. Let's move on here. As Arlene is asking, that was something different there. Got messed up there.
It's
all
not
right.
a breakfast question.
Yeah, that was a question for me about swag bags for our Las Vegas trip. Yeah. That's right. Let's see here. So we scroll on down here. Well, while we're waiting for another question from our audience here, when we talk about curses and we talk about everything that goes on with them, can you put and maybe I'm going to word this incorrectly, and I apologize if I am, but can you put a positive spell on someone? Let's say you have a young family or a young husband and wife who's been trying for years to get pregnant and have children of their own, and they just haven't been able to. Can you put a spell on them to have the luck to have a child or something along those lines?
Absolutely. I don't just do negative magic. Yes, of course you can put spells on people to increase. Spells aren't guaranteed to work. So for the positive spell, you're increasing their chances of manifesting their desires. So you're increasing the chances.
Would that be the same as, say, group prayer? Like, let's say one of our listeners was not feeling very well, and we all kind of pushed our positive energy and healing energy over to them. Is that kind of the same type of idea?
Yeah, yes. And I strongly believe in group prayers. I think they're very, very effective. I mean, that's a lot of energy input or output. A lot of energy, and that's what spells are. They're energy outputs, whether you're outputting negative energy or positive energy. So with group prayer, they're outputting positive energies toward their target. So yeah, that's a lot of great energies. Absolutely. Even the same can happen with a negative curse, like say somebody really double-crossed a group of witches, like say a coven, okay? And if they can get together and put a negative curse on somebody, it can be very effective because the more people that you have, the more output of energy that happens. So yes.
Very interesting. How does that manifestation of energy that you focus on one person or a group of people, how does that help them? Like, what does it do to those people?
I'm not understanding. I mean, it brightens their aura. Who are you praying to help them? So are you praying to God? Are you praying to a saint? It depends on exactly what the mechanics or the mechanisms were. So if I pray to God and say, please help Jane Doe, or if a group of us say, please help Jane Doe pass her test, or whatever, okay? So God is hearing this, or the saints are hearing this, or whatever entities are hearing this from a group of people, and you're increasing the chances of faster manifestation also.
Okay.
So think of it this way. So if I have a water gun and I squirt it at you, so let's just say that water gun is a spell. Okay, so if I squirt that water gun at you, you're going to get a little bit of water. But if a group of us all squirt a water gun at you, you're going to get soaked. You're going to get drenched. Same type of principles.
All right, let's get to another question from our audience here. Grantavius is asking, do you think Orgone pyramids work?
Okay, so when I was talking to Lynn, someone asked me about Orgone, and I don't even know what that is. And everybody explained to me what it is, and I thought, this doesn't, I'm not even going to go there.
All right, let's go to Itzy. Can an unintentional curse be stopped if the unintentional victim says, no, I'm asking for kids I work with whose parents may not realize what they're doing.
Okay, leave the question up so I can understand this. Can an unintentional curse be stopped if the unintentional victim says no? Yeah, of course. Of course. let's just say this is a water gun. Okay? So if that person puts up a shield, they're not going to get wet. So when you're saying no and you're protecting yourself, you're visualizing a white light around you or even a purple light around you, right? Or even outputting that energy now, right? That's still protecting yourself. Absolutely, Itzy. Absolutely.
Awesome. We have 2 minutes left. Let's try and sneak in one or two more questions. Malou is asking, can I just take water from a church? How do you get holy water? I think my priest would look off if I showed up with my water bottle.
Okay, so when we come back from the break, I'd like to tell you how I do it, okay? Because it's going to take longer than a minute. Is that all right if I answer that question when we come back?
Well, we got about 90 seconds that we have to fill. So why don't you start, and then we will.
Okay. So if you want holy water from a church, there is no reason that they should try to stop you, because the church will have a fountain. The only thing I don't like about that fountain up front is that everybody sticks their hands into it and makes the sign of the cross. So what I always recommend is you take a bottle and you make up baloney, right, and lie and say, so-and-so is sick and I would like some holy water, but I don't want it contaminated by anything because the person who's sick is immunosuppressed. And that's what you can say. But never be embarrassed to take holy water, because everybody on the planet who's Catholic or Orthodox takes holy water home. And yes, you can show up with your water bottle. Absolutely.
Beautiful. Beautiful. We got just under a minute left. Can we sneak in one more here? Thin Lizzy wants to know if you use Palo Santo wood.
Palo Santo, yes, of course. And that is just absolutely wonderful. Yes.
It smells good too.
It's a stick, a piece of wood, and Palo Santo is holy wood, right? So yeah, you just like that and smoke it around your house. Absolutely.
Why not?
Thin Lizzy Borden.
Smoke them if you got them. That is the key to Palo Santo wood. And throw in a little sage just for good luck here, as we have Miss Aida for another 30 minutes here on Spaced Out Radio, taking questions, curses, spells, witchcraft, good, bad, indifferent. Hey, everything could be good if you want it to be good. And that's where we're going as we find our Zen and Chi tonight on the mighty SOR. Spaced Out Radio continues with Miss Aida at missaida.com right after this. Stay tuned. All right. There we go. We're clear. All right. That'll be our next question for when we come back. Let's see.
Okay, that's a hard question.
Oh, we'll answer it when we get back. Spaghetti Lee, how are you? Excuse me. I'm so behind in the chat room right now. I'm like 7 minutes behind. I'm trying to catch up, people. Oh, let's see here. Poor puppy.
I know. Oh, baby, you're being so good. You do. Yes, you are. You're both good. You're good people.
Enterprise isn't just one of the world's largest transportation providers. We're a committed team, helping you get to what matters most: your family, your livelihood, and your next adventure. Getting you there begins with our employees, who are motivated to make a difference for you every day. Around the world and around the corner, in neighborhoods like yours. Connecting you to all the places you love. That's Enterprise.
Socks are the #1 most requested item in homeless shelters. Underwear is the second, shirts are third. At Bombas, socks were first, made with comfortable details for everyday wearing. Then underwear and shirts too, all designed to perfectly fit. At Bombas, every item you purchase means you're donating an essential clothing item to someone in need. One comfortable clothing item for you, one donated to someone in need. Bombas, comfort for all. Get 20% off your purchase at bombas.com/comfy.
All right. All right, we got lots of questions building up here, so that's awesome. Hi, Fedora John. How are you? Hey, Real Soldier, I didn't get earlier. You're under a different name. What name were you under previous? Let me know if you don't mind. Oh, yeah, well, you got like 19 different identities, Bob, Julius Caesar, Cosmic Contour. Oh, come on. You got like 85 more profiles to go. Solstice Saltwater Lures. What's happening? Welcome to our channel. Very weak snark, though, man. Very weak snark to start off. I prefer good snark. All right, we got about 1 minute. I want to say a big thank you to Larry, Grantavius, and Quetzal for the super chats tonight. We really do appreciate it. Big thank you to everyone tuning in, and especially all of our veterans out there. You always have a safe home here on our show. And let's see here. What else can we say? March 25th to 27th, both Lynn Wallington and I will be in San Francisco for UFOCon 2022. You can go to UFOCon2022.com and get your tickets there. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of cool people there. And come meet us. We'd love to meet up with all of you. And then Lynn and I will be in Las Vegas for the SOR fan party on April 22nd and 24th. I booked my airlines today. Here we go, everyone. We passed the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate it. Want to remind you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read Shirky Poo's Newswire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and now on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. We continue on tonight. For the final time, we have Miss Aida with us. MissAida.com is her website, and you can check out all of her books online. And we're taking some audience questions here. Miss Aida, welcome back. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, your background noise has got a little loud there, so I'm not sure what's going on, but I will do this. I'll put you on mute, and then when I ask the question, I will turn your microphone back on. Kevin is asking if there is a special quality about silver and gold or other metals when used to fight off unwanted spirits or negative energy. What's your thoughts?
So, it's a very, very good question. And, if you go back through time, I can't give you the properties, but if you go back through time, oral tradition always taught us that silver is a repellent against negative entities. I've never heard of gold being a repellent, but, here I have a silver bracelet that I always wear. I bought it in Greece. It's a bunch of anti-evil eyes, and also a really, really the best repellent that you can have against negative entities is iron, not steel, because that is iron with carbon, I believe, but iron. You can buy iron bracelets or iron rings, and entities, especially fairies, and there are different types of fairies, and there are evil fairies that are repulsed by iron, and negative entities are also repulsed by silver, but not as much as iron. But I can't tell you why. I can tell you the silver is associated with the pagan goddess and the gold is associated with the pagan god, but I can't tell you why. I can only tell you that it goes back to oral tradition. And, right away it makes me think about the silver bullet and the werewolf. Isn't that, you're more of an expert on it. I don't know much about that, but a silver bullet will kill a werewolf.
So right? They say.
So that goes back to oral. Pardon me?
So they say.
Yeah, so they say. It all goes back to oral tradition. But I just can't tell you why, and I apologize for that.
All right. Pack Woman. Well, we'll move on here. Pack Woman is asking, how do you lift a generational curse?
So I always explain to clients, it is almost as if you have a hereditary disease, right? You can keep it under control. And that's the best you can do. As far as removing it, that's kind of tough, but you can keep it under control. So it'd be the same as taking your daily medicine, right, to control whatever hereditary disease you have. So look at a generational curse as a hereditary disease. To lift a generational curse, you'd have to go to the source. And that would be really, really tough to do. You'd have to contact the entity or find where something was buried. That's hard to do. So just keep it under control.
Sandra is wondering, is there a quick saying or prayer when you have to deal with negative people for protection?
Psalm 91. It's not a quick one, but Psalm 91 is a protection prayer.
And how does that protect?
It summons God. to protect you. It's the most powerful protection prayer in the Bible.
Okay. Let's go to Fidgety Aura, who is wondering, can you sanctify your own holy water?
Yes. I don't. I personally don't. But yes, you can do it. So you just bless it and call on God or Goddess or, whatever your faith is and ask them. See what happens with holy water. Why does it become holy water? So water molecules react to vibrations. And I have done this on my live events where I've showed pictures. I know you can't see pictures on the radio, but for those that can see, I'm holding up a picture right now of water that's molecules that are reacting to negativity. So if I'm screaming or hollering or whatever, right? And when I'm saying nice things, water molecules look a lot prettier. So for those that can't see it visually, the water molecules look like blobs when I'm speaking to it in a negative manner, and then they look like beautiful snowflakes when I'm talking to it in a positive manner, and it's responding. So when you're making holy water, what you're doing is you're putting in some sort of vibration that changes the molecular structure of the molecules. So yes, you can do it with prayer. I personally don't do that. I love the water from Lourdes, France, the holy water from the grotto in Lourdes, France. And for anybody who's interested, their website is called directfromlourdes.com. And they have the best water. Also, so that you know, speaking of holy water, the first rain in May, it doesn't have to be May 1st, but the first rain in May has that molecular composition of holy water. And in Santeria and Wicca and all kinds of practices around the world know that the first rain in May is holy water. So there you go.
All right. Thank you for that knowledge. John is asking, my question is, how does the awareness of the target that the curse exists impact the potency of the curse?
Oh, it depends. So if I know that I'm cursed, right, I'm just going to get rid of it, okay? And that's that. But if it's somebody who's paranoid and vulnerable, right, and they know that they're cursed and they don't do anything about it, they are allowing more and more negativity to come in, and it becomes worse. It can actually affect their physiological status. So it just depends on the person.
Have you been cursed before?
Oh, heck yes. Absolutely. When I tell people, if you've been cursed, don't panic. I've got ways to remove curses. Don't panic. And for those that have been cursed or are cursed, I tell them, you're just a member of an ancient club, because curses have been around for thousands of years. I wouldn't panic. Just get rid of it. Don't become vulnerable to it. So let me put it to you this way. So if I have strep throat, okay, let's just say that strep throat is the curse, right? And I immediately start taking antibiotics, I'm going to get rid of the strep throat. But if I succumb to it and I don't do anything about it, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. So that's how you can look at it.
Well, from curses to spells, let's get into spells here for a little bit because...
Okay, so a curse is a spell. It's just a type of spell.
Okay, but let's go more positive.
Okay.
Okay, so what kind of positivity would you put a spell on? Because, a lot of people will say, well, can you put a spell on me so I win the lottery or make my disease go away or something along those lines? Does that actually work?
I don't know, because I don't believe in lottery spells, because if they worked, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be in Monte Carlo. But and that's another thing too. I'm going to sway from that for a minute. Don't be paying metaphysical practitioners to help you win the lottery or give you lottery numbers, because they're collecting money for you. Why haven't they won the lottery? They wouldn't be selling lottery predictions if that were true. But getting back to, can I put a spell on you to increase your chances of bringing more money to you? Absolutely, yes. Absolutely. The type of positive spells that I perform mostly are success spells, especially academia. So I've helped a lot of, and it's kind of interesting, I've helped a lot of people pass their nursing exams, their nursing school exams, or their nursing exams. Love spells, sometimes it depends. I think love spells can be as dangerous as a negative spell, because if you don't have all the facts, you might be hurting somebody. So if I were in love with John Doe, madly in love with John Doe, and John Doe is married to Jane Doe and they have children, and I put a love spell on John Doe and he leaves his wife and children for me, that's hurting people. That's hurting the wife, that's hurting the children. So love spells can be dangerous, and I don't like performing them as much. But success spells, finding a job spell, things like that, absolutely.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, let's get to Steve's question here. Does diluting holy water to stretch it dilute strength?
No. So it is said, and it's been said for many, 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 many years, decades, maybe hundreds of years, that you can put 1 drop of holy water into a vat or a tub of water and it turns everything into holy water. Now, you can and will, ruin it if you mix it with something else. So holy water must be mixed only with water.
All right. Getting back to the whole idea that, you could wish well for someone and give them that spell or that affirmation for confidence to go into that job interview or to maybe have the luck of starting a family or something along those lines. What happens to your energy when you're putting out positive spells and affirmation like that?
I have to be honest with you. When I perform positive spells, it weakens me a little bit. But when I perform negative spells, it wears me out for probably a couple of days. Because when I practice magic, I scream, I yell, I do whatever. And if it's a positive spell, I'm doing a lot of visualization, a lot of role playing, and it tires me out. So positive spells tire me out, but negative spells burn me out.
That intrigues me, because you would think with the positivity, even though you're using your own energy, that you would get the enlightenment and the love back from it.
No, not at all. Because whatever type of spell you're performing, you're outputting energy. where is that energy coming from? You're drawing it from the universe and you're drawing it out of you.
Makes sense. Makes complete sense. Okay, so as we move forward here, we've got about 8 minutes left with you. What happens if a positive spell goes negative?
Okay. I have this example in one of my books. Okay. It can go negative if your command or petition, whatever you want to call it, is improperly implemented. So I have an example in my book where this woman wanted her husband to come back to her. Okay. And she performed her spell by herself. She wanted her husband to come back to her, and I believe she said, under any circumstance, just bring him back to me. And her child ran outside. It was a toddler, and it was killed by a car. And of course, the husband had to return for the funeral. So positive spells can go awry if your petition is not structured properly. And another thing too, and this doesn't answer your question, but I just want to add this. When you perform a spell, never say, I want, I wish, or I desire. Never say that, because I can wish to win the lottery and that spell can manifest. I won't win the lottery, but what manifests is I will spend forever wishing to win the lottery. So you never use those words.
Is that because it's selfish?
No, because think about what you're saying. The spell is I wish. The spell is I desire. The spell is I want. So you will continue wanting, wishing, and desiring. You're not saying money will come to me. Success will come to me. You're saying I wish, I want. Get it?
Got it. Makes sense. Makes big time sense. All right, Miss Aida is here tonight answering.
Hello, Discover here to explain our cash back match. Here's how it works. We give you cash back for using your Discover card on the things you were going to buy anyway. Then we match that cash back in your first year. And that's why we call it Cashback Match. Now to recap and say cashback one more time. We match all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year automatically. Discover. Exceptionally common sense. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply.
Plan ahead this Valentine's Day with 1-800-Flowers.com. From first dibs on great deals to the best selection of Valentine's Day roses and guaranteed delivery. Don't wait to wow. Right now, 1-800-Flowers is offering 24 assorted roses for $39.99. Or upgrade to 24 red roses for $10 more. Get right to the romance this Valentine's and find the way to wow with 1-800-Flowers.com. To order, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in.
Your questions and ours about all sorts of stuff. We'll quickly switch topics here. We got 5 minutes left. I think a lot of people would be very curious to learn, what is the difference between hoodoo and voodoo?
Hoodoo is there's let me just go backwards a little bit. So when the Africans were taken out of Africa into slavery, they were brought to different places. And some of them, they were brought to Cuba and what was practiced there, Catholicism, right? Same with voodoo. And, here in the United States, people were mostly Protestant. So what happened when the slaves were in Cuba and other parts of the country where Catholic entities were worshipped, they incorporated their own entities into the Catholic ones. So that's how you get an African traditional religion, right? Because it finally becomes its own religion. Voodoo becomes its own religion. Santeria becomes its own religion. It's a meld of the Catholic religion into the African religion, right? When they came here to the United States, no, let me go back. Voodoo, Santeria, those practices are written in stone. Okay, so things have to be done a certain way. They're always done this certain way. I'm not an expert on voodoo, but I can speak for Santeria. So when they were brought here, the slaves really, it became a folkloric magical practice, and it became an African derivative tradition. So voodoo has not only the African aspects of it, but it incorporates European magic, Asian magic, Native American magic, and it's forever evolving and growing. So, it takes on more. It's a folkloric practice. It's not a religion. It's an African derivative tradition, whereas voodoo is an African traditional religion. And that's the difference. You have to be initiated into voodoo. You do not have to be initiated to be a voodoo practitioner.
We always think of voodoo, and it probably rubs off on hoodoo, as being a negative practice. Because that's the way Hollywood. That's the way Hollywood has made it out to be in books and movies and everything. Yeah. But that simply isn't true, is it?
No, voodoo is a beautiful, beautiful religion. Beautiful religion. So I told this to somebody. In Santeria, we have different entities that we. That's my dogs. I apologize. In Santeria, we have different entities that we worship. And a long, long time ago, I brought an eggplant with some flags to the cemetery to offer, one of the entities, just an offering, and no big deal. It was an eggplant with little toothpick flags, right? And that night I'm watching the news and they're looking for the devil worshiper who left this at the cemetery. So, you see how the media gets involved and they change things. No, voodoo is a beautiful religion, as is Santeria.
All right, we have 90 seconds to go with you tonight, and I want to say a big thank you to you for coming on Spaced Out Radio with us. Miss Aida, it's been a lot of fun and a lot of knowledge for all of us who may not be familiar with everything that we discussed tonight, from hoodoo to voodoo to curses to spells and everything in between. Do us a favor, take the next minute to let our audience know where they can find your books and more information about you.
Well, you can go to my website, missaida.com, missaida.com. You can go to my Facebook page. I have a free live event every other Sunday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And I'll do some free magical coaching. And you can go to my Facebook page and look at my old videos. They're up there. And that's Miss Aida Psychic. And if you want to buy my books, just you can go to any bookstore, or you can go to Amazon and see my books there. And that's about all I know about me.
Well,
Instagram, Miss Aida Conjure on Instagram.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate all of your positivity and your knowledge tonight on our show. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Coming up next, we're going to go to Super Duke. He's got an extra long, spooky story that he's going to take with us. And then, at the bottom of hour number 3, we're going to warm up the Magic 8 Ball for some psychic intuition. We got Shirky Poo's news and the thought of the day as well. Stay tuned. Great job, Miss Aida.
Are you sure?
Great job.
Okay.
That was fun.
Okay, great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you so much. What a pleasure it was to have you.
Well, thank you. It was a pleasure being here anytime.
All right.
And I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Take care, okay? We'll see you soon.
Okay. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Miss Aida, everybody. Love her. Love her. Oh, look who it is. It's little Dookie Sullivan.
Howdy, kids. How you doing? Great hair, Dave.
Thanks. What's with your microphone?
Is my mic making weird noises?
You sound like Darth Vader right now.
Okay, let me take care of it.
That is awesome. That is actually kind of awesome right now. I may ask you to keep that, actually. Super Duke.
Okay.
Still.
Are we back to still on?
You still got Darth Vader
Still got
voice.
Darth Vader. Okay.
And I'm getting a lot of feedback on my area.
I might have to log out for a second here and get back on again.
All right. That actually sounds kind of cool. That's not very nice, TMI. Who looks more like a Bigfoot? Yes, Anders, sounds like, let's play a game. I'll be honest with you, Super Duke. I'm very pleased to go with this voice tonight. I'd be very pleased to go with it. That would actually sound really cool. What kind of audio program are you using?
I've got a mixture that's got a ton of different programs on it, and it's running one of them that isn't supposed to be right now, and I don't know why.
God, please don't change it. Don't change it. It sounds way too awesome, man. Ever since I've been the champ. Oh, I love it. I love it, man.
Okay, what do we got now?
Oh, you're back to normal.
Yay.
Oh.
Yeah, I was working with this program where I was messing around with different kinds of music and trying to modify, certain types to make it sound like something different.
Yeah.
And the thing wouldn't disable itself again. So.
Damn it.
Okay.
Dude, it sounded awesome. I'm not going to lie. It sounded awesome. I would have totally...
Really?
I would have totally ran with that. Totally ran with that.
I couldn't even hear it on my end. I didn't have to listen to it on my end.
Oh.
I didn't know it was on even. I'm like, what the hell's that?
Oh, dude, you were like doing total Darth Vader stuff. It was fantastic.
I'll have to try and find what the heck I had on there and see if I can find it again.
Everybody's asking in the chat room, can you go back? Can you go back?
Are we ready for story time yet?
About 1 minute here.
Okay.
Super Duke is going to go a little bit longer tonight because I accidentally made a boo-boo and did not preload in my Swamp Dweller story for tonight. So I apologize. I know a lot of you like that, and our radio fans are especially really enjoying it. So I do apologize, but I will get back to it tomorrow night. Hey, Fapster, where you been? Bingo halls finally let out or what?
Fap.
Mm-hmm.
Fap. Is Cosmic Farts in the chat room? Or
Cosmic Farts, yeah, Cosmic Farts is in there.
Right on. Hey, Cosmic.
Mm-hmm. All right, we got 23 seconds. Thank you, Grantavius, Quetzal, and Larry for the super chats tonight. Very much appreciate it. And let us rock and roll here in about 10 seconds, Duke.
Right on.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Here we go with the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hi to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Go to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do us the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. It is Icardinate. Icardinate is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. By the way, his 80s music name, Clamio. Clamio. The word up. And bad joke, I know. All right, our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot, reading Shirky Poo's Newswire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and now on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. All right, it is that time once again where we get a little bit shifty, a little bit shady, a little bit dirty with Duke Sullivan from World Bigfoot Radio. All right, Super Duke from World Bigfoot Radio on YouTube, one of the largest Bigfoot channels going right now. And if you ever get a chance to go on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell for old Super Duke Sullivan. Duke, welcome back.
Hey, howdy everybody. Big Sky howdy from Montana. Glad to be back. And like Dave let you guys know, I've got kind of a long story tonight. This is a classic Bigfoot story. And it's all connected to Canada because the first person that got this story was John Green, very famous Bigfoot researcher out of Canada. And John had actually released a story in the newspaper about this guy who had an encounter with a female Sasquatch, which prompted this other guy who read the story to come forward and go, hey, I had an encounter that was like a lot worse than that. Well, John went and interviewed the guy, and he actually got him to not only recount his whole story, but he got him to write it down. It took apparently 2 notebooks filled up with details. So you're not going to hear that whole long version. But you will hear the somewhat annotated version as included in the book Abominable Snowmen, Legend Come to Life, which is that thick. And that's by the amazing father of cryptozoology, Ivan T. Sanderson. Now, Ivan says it came to light in 1957. Concerns happening alleged to have taken place in 1924 in the mountains behind Toba Inlet, which is on the coast of British Columbia. Hey, that's close to where you are, Dave, right? British Columbia?
I may be in that province. I just may be.
I think you're pretty close. So anyway, you're somewhere near it. You're in the same province. It came to light through a letter, again, advanced to John Green from the gentleman who had the experience. And Mr. Albert Ostman, his letter was a result, again, like I said, a publication of Mr. Green's other story. Now, Ivan mentions that he had the pleasure of meeting both gentlemen in company with another one of his friends and got a chance to talk to Mr. Ostman about the story and went through the whole thing. Now, he's got a whole bunch of details about his opinion on different things, but let's get right to Ostman's story. After a strenuous year on the job, he decided to take a part vacation with some prospecting on the side. He's interested in gold prospecting, so up in Toba Inlet. Chose a wild area at the head of the Toba Inlet, which is the first substantial fjord north of Powell River. This is on the mainland opposite the middle of Vancouver Island. There was allegedly a lost gold mine thereabouts, and he decided to take a crack at finding it. He hired an old Amerindian to take him up the fjord, and he says that he first heard from him on the journey of the existence of the giant hairy men of the woods. He had supplies for 3 weeks, plus rifle, sleeping bag, and other basic equipment. The local man left him alone on shore, and he proceeded inland and found a good campsite. This he fixed up very comfortably, making a thick bed of small branches on which to place his sleeping bag, and hung his supply bags well off the ground on a pole. The next morning he nonetheless found his things disturbed, though nothing was missing. Being a knowledgeable woodsman, he assumed that a porcupine was responsible, so the following night he loaded his rifle and placed it under the bed flap. The next morning he found to his dismay that his pack sack still hung from the pole well off the ground, but its contents had been emptied out, and some items of food taken. Strangely, his salt had not been touched. This surprised him quite a bit, because porcupines have an insatiable craving for salt and always go for it first. At the same time, he did not think that it was a bear, because although he admits to having been a very heavy sleeper, bears usually make a great rumpus and smash up everything. Albert Ostman did not like these events one bit, so he stayed rather close around camp in the hopes of catching the marauder in the act. On the third night, he took special precautions, intending to stay awake all night. He did not undress, but merely removed his boots and left them at the bottom of the sleeping bag, put his geological pick to hand, and took his loaded rifle into the bag with him. But he did not fall asleep. The next thing he knew, he was being picked up like a puppy in a paper bag, felt himself heaved, as he first thought, onto a horse's back. Bemused and half awake, he tried to get at his knife to cut his way out of the sleeping bag, but he was wedged down into the bottom in a sitting position, couldn't reach it. Then he felt his pack sack bumping against him, with the hard cans within clearly discernible by their sharp impact. As far as Ivan says, as far as I was able to ascertain in my interview with him, he was completely in the bag, as one might say, and the opening was being held shut above his head. How he managed to breathe under such terrible circumstances for over an hour was quite the effort. He says he was carried uphill and down dale when he was dragging along the ground, and that his carrier even jog-trotted over level places. This is some going for anything carrying a man of Ostman's size, plus knapsack full of supplies and other equipment, but by no means the strangest part of the proceedings. Skipping ahead. Anyway, at the end of what must have been quite an ordeal, however briefly or really long it was, he was dumped unceremoniously onto the ground. He heard some voices gibbering, but not using true speech as far as he could ascertain. He apparently got his head out of the bag for air and then tried to crawl out, but his legs had rather naturally gone numb, and it was some time before he could emerge and rescue his boots. It was still dark and starting to rain. He then tells in various characteristic ways what happened when it began to dawn, and he could see the outlines of the four large creatures on two legs around him. I don't know if his native Swedish wit got the better of him, but he says that when he could stand up and ask a somewhat banal question, "What do you chaps want with me?" He found that the captors consisted of 2 big ones, a pair, and 2 youngsters, also a male and female. He stresses that the latter 2 seemed thoroughly scared of him, and that the old woman, as he called her, seemed very peeved with her mate for dragging such an object home. But he then goes on to say, and this I find very interesting, if odd, that the old man kept gesticulating and telling the others all about it. In other words, their gibbering noises was a speech. All of them were hairy and without clothing, and Ostman estimates the old man to have been between 7 and 8 feet tall. When the sun was fully up, they all left him. He says he found himself in a 10-acre bowl high in the mountains, its edges so steep as to be unscalable, and with only one outlet, a V-shaped cut with walls about 20 feet high and about 8 feet wide at the bottom. It is not quite clear why at this point he did not try to make a break for the gap, but
Enterprise isn't just one of the world's largest transportation providers. We're a committed team, helping you get to what matters most: your family, your livelihood, and your next adventure. Getting you there begins with our employees, who are motivated to make a difference for you every day. Around the world and around the corner, in neighborhoods like yours. Connecting you to all the places you love. That's Enterprise.
To show you how easy it is to file a claim with Geico, we hired a nature show host.
In the native habitat of a suburban driveway, the poor victim of a broken windshield is left assessing his vehicle, utterly helpless.
Well, not true. If he's got Geico, he can file a claim online, over the phone, or with his handy mobile app.
But like a lone gazelle, he'll suddenly be left to fend for himself, awaiting his terrible fate.
Nope. Geico will assign him a designated claims team to help him out, too.
So the gazelle gets his car fixed and everything. Wow, nature is so cool.
Geico. Great service without all the drama.
this was possible because of his still wobbly legs. Later on, he made several attempts, both frontally at speed and by subtlety, but the old man kept a weather eye on him and invariably cut him off on his approach, making pushing motions with his hands, and a sound that Osman invariably described as something like "suka suka." However, when he first arrived, he moved over to the opposite side of the bowl and set up camp under two small trees. He said in inventory of possessions he had was interesting: prunes, macaroni, full rifle cartridges, etc., etc. Now getting toward the end of the story, it seems that Osman made his first attempts to get out on the second day, but was driven back by the old man, as he called him. The young male kept coming closer to him and finally rolled his empty snuff box to the young male. The Sasquatch grabbed it, showed it to his sister, and then took it to his father. Somehow Osman got it back because he used it later. During the next 5 days, nothing much seems to have occurred, except the young male gave Osman some grass with sweet roots to eat and got some snuff in return, which he chewed. The old man then also developed a liking for snuff, and this finally did the trick. On the seventh day, as far as I can make out, the boy and the old man came right up to Osman and squatted down, watching him taking a pinch of snuff. Osman held out the box of the snuff box to the old man, who instead of taking a pinch in imitation, grabbed the box and emptied its whole contents into his mouth and swallowed it. In a few minutes, his eyes began to roll, not a surprise. He let out a screech and grabbed a can half full of, unfortunately, cold coffee and coffee grounds, which he then guzzled down. This made it even worse, and after rolling about some more, he charged off to the spring. Osman gathered up his possessions and made a dash for the opening in the cliff. The old lady tried to intercept him and was very close on his heels, but he fired a shot at a rock above her head, and she fled back again. Osman found himself in a canyon running south, down which he made record time, no surprise, as he put it. Then he climbed a ridge and saw Mount Baker way off to the side, so that he knew which way to go to hit the coast. He was not followed, apparently. He rested for a couple hours on the ridge, then started down again. That night he camped near heavy timber, shot a grouse, and roasted and ate the bird. Next day he had an upset stomach from it. Making his way down to where the water was, finally he heard a motor running, made for it coming out in an advanced logging operation. The foreman, seeing that he was just about at the end of his tether, took him in and fed him and let him rest up for a couple days. Osman then made his way down to a camp on the Salmon Arm branch of the Sechelet Inlet, where he got a boat back to Vancouver. And that's Mr. Osman's story. And it's been taken so seriously, and there's so many details included in it, that one of the things, anatomical details on the Patterson-Gimlin film, which they show is when Patty's foot comes back, you can see she's got this big pad on the bottom of her foot. And Ostman actually described this in his encounters with these Sasquatch people, and that's why it's called an Ostman pad to this day.
Well, I can tell you that is very dangerous territory where this occurred. I mean, you're literally in the middle of nowhere, and like between Powell River and Prince Rupert, which is probably 400 or 500 kilometers, or about 250 miles, there's nothing. Duke,
Whole lot of nothing.
There's a whole lot of nothing. Okay, it's trees. It's very mountainous, dangerous area. You know, the fishing is great, by the way. I mean, now you go in there and there is a plethora of resorts and fishing, outposts and everything that you can get. It's very high end now, but back then, dude, that's as rugged could be. You know,
that's it. That's 100 years ago. There was nobody up there, and the interesting detail at the beginning is what attracted him to it. Is there's rumors of an abandoned gold mine.
Right.
Why did they abandon a gold mine?
Well, I mean, this is just it. This is just it, Duke. I mean, this is a story that is in British Columbia legend. I would love to go to that area. It is also very close to a place called Bella Coola, and another place where the spirit bears, the Kermode bears, which there are less than 500 in the world, are in that area too. And from what I have heard from numerous people, from indigenous to people who've worked out there, is you have to watch out for the bears. You have to watch out for the grizzly bears. You have to watch out for the Sasquatch in those areas. And it's nothing whether you're a police officer, a teacher, a banker in one of those remote towns to all of a sudden come across a Sasquatch. That goes a part of life around there.
Yeah. I don't know if you had ever heard of it, but there's another report from virtually the same place, right up the Toba Inlet, of a native named Muchele Harry, who was like well-known trapper, hunter, spent all of his time in the woods. The only time he'd come back to town is when he needed provisions. And he also reported a similar incident, and this time it wasn't just a small family unit. He claimed there was like a dozen or more of them that snatched him up and, again, kept him prisoner for days. He finally managed to escape, made his way back to where his canoe was, paddled furiously back to civilization, and never left the town again.
Well, let's take
so, if the guy was just telling a tall tale, going from being Mr. Abbott outdoors all the time to I'm never leaving town again. And the other detail is when he got back to town, he had white hair. Yeah. He didn't have any white hair when he left.
Okay, so I want to show you something. Okay, we're looking on a map here. So Vancouver is way down south. We're looking on a Google map here. The Toba Inlet and this entire area here, okay, which includes Powell River, Gibson, Saanich, Seashelt, or not Saanich, Seashelt. This is maybe in this area here. I think I would be estimating 30,000 people, if that. If that. Okay, and then you get into the mountain ranges here, where there is nothing. All right, nothing. Literally, you could draw a straight line from the Toba Inlet up to where we're broadcasting from SOR headquarters here. Right there. Right there. This area right here. That's it. That's what we're talking about. There is nothing. By the way, this area here, Dog Creek, and in here, this is where we got run out of the forest by the two Sasquatch right here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. How cool is that?
Look at what the distance is and how much wilderness there is. How many major roads are there between you and Toba Inlet, Dave?
0. And then you got to figure out a path on how to cross the mighty Fraser River. And that's pretty tough. And then you would have to You need an airplane to get over here because somebody like me, I would just die. I would just die. I mean, literally, this is all mountainous glacier peaks and everything. It's where you get the good beer from in these areas.
Lots and lots of open space for there to be Sasquatch roaming around.
Absolutely.
In. So not really too much of a surprise that they're there. But what got me is that this is like within a couple years of each other when these two accounts happened. Neither of these guys knew each other, and they both happened in virtually the same place. And there's another spot up in Alaska where the miners found really rich, super rich gold ore. And the guy that found the big chunk of gold brought it back to his buddies in the cabin and went, here you go. I'm out of here. I'm leaving Alaska. I'm going back down south. And they're like, wait. What happened? So I'll tell you where this chunk of gold came from, but I'm not going back there. Mm-hmm. And it was a similar situation. He had gone down into this valley and found this really rich strike there. And further down in the valley, there was about a dozen of these nasty-looking, scary things. And as soon as they saw him, they came charging up the valley to get him. And luckily, he was really close to the crest of the hill, so he got over it and ran like hell as fast as he could to get out of there. They pursued him all the way back to his canoe again, and he paddled furiously to get away from them.
I actually, you'll be happy with me. I was talking to a logging road trucker today. And,
right on.
And so he comes into my daytime office because him and his wife, I have to do some work for them. And I said to him, I said, so, how's the roads up in the mountains? He goes, Dave, it's terrible. Absolutely terrible. And he's talking to me about how much ice is on the roads and how fast that they literally have to go down. Like they literally have to go down these icy roads at some of them as steep as like 20 degrees. Okay, and 20 degrees doesn't seem, but they got to go down at about 30, 35 miles an hour in order to keep the truck on the road. So I asked him, I said, you ever see anything strange? All the time. He goes, you have no idea how many times we're driving and we'll see things out of the corner of our eyes. He goes, whether it's orbs in the sky or things running between the trees, he goes, we see it all the time. I said, because I kind of have an interest in Sasquatch. And he goes, oh, where are you looking? He goes, because I'll point out the roads where our drivers have had encounters.
Why did the Bigfoot cross the road to get to the other side? Yeah, at least it gives you a travel corridor that they're being seen around the same area. At least they're traveling through there, if not living there.
Well, I mean, since we got the map up here, this area here, Edmund Lake, is where he says that there have been sightings around logging areas. He told me to try that area. He told me to try, let's see, all of this area, right, this highly forested area just west of us. And then if we go into, where are we here? This area here, which is just about northeast of SOR headquarters. We got a bunch of lakes in here. And he said that there's this one little logging road called Wilcox Road, or what they call the 500 Road, because when you go into the logging areas, they number the roads because it's easier for the truckers. And he's like, if you go maybe 200-300 yards in, he goes, you'll start seeing things. He goes, daytime, nighttime, doesn't matter. He goes, Sasquatch, orbs, UFOs. He goes, it's all back there. Just go. Go.
Well, you know where to go look now. That's awesome.
I got my area. I was looking for the new area, and I think I found it. Now, the interesting part about this is in this same area was where a couple of indigenous elders actually raised a rifle to a couple of dogmen back there.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And then they lowered the rifle.
Well, that was a good idea.
Yeah. And the good part is We know where to go. We know where to go. I was worried, Duke. I was honestly worried because I didn't know. But
if you go visit Dogman, you got to bring your pocket full of Milk-Bone dog biscuits for them to appease them.
And tennis balls.
And tennis balls.
They can't.
I'm not sure. I don't know if either one of those would actually work, but
I'm willing to take the chance, Duke. Now, Duke, I'm going to ask you because, I can go into the next segment doing the Magic 8 Ball, or if you want to continue to talk some Bigfoot, we could do that. It's really up to you.
Well, I leave it up to the audience. I love the Magic 8 Ball myself, too.
Well, why don't we do the Magic 8 Ball? You can hang out. We'll do the Magic 8 Ball next as we get a little bit psychic here on Spaced Out Radio. Let us find our Zen and our Chi. Let us start to tune in and shake up the Magic 8 Ball as we get ready for the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio. We're also going to get you to Shirky Poo's news, the thought of the day, a jam-packed hour or final half hour of the show. Thank you to Duke Sullivan from World Bigfoot Radio on YouTube for an amazing story about Albert Ostman. We'll be back with the final half hour right after this. All right, so just to show you, Duke, this is where we go. We will. Where are we here? Where's? Okay, right here. Just to show you, this is where Little Marky Spender works. We'll drop off our vehicles right here, and then we hop on our side by sides. We'll roll up this road here. I don't want to get you guys sick here while you're looking. And then we'll ride the logging road here. We'll say hi to the people at the land dump there. Always bald eagles in here, which is cool. And,
cool.
And then we come around here. This is a nice area to ride right in there in that landfill right there. Well, that rock quarry, actually. Some good trails in there. And then we come up here. This is a huge moose area right in here. So right here last year, I actually saw a couple of moose right there, which was nice. We get over.
Be careful there in the spring.
Oh, yeah. Then we ride, and where are we here? Okay, hold on. So we take the 1100 road this way. So this goes up to Valentine Lake, I believe. Yeah, there's Valentine. No, that's Edmund Lake. Where's Valentine here? Hold on. Is that Valentine there? That shouldn't be. No. Hold on. Valentine should be right here. There's Valentine Lake right here. We got the blue water here, eh? Like, look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this lake here, there's been Sasquatch tracks found in this area here. And this lake here, it's all that really cool green color. Just beautiful. But when you come back here, where are we here? Let's get back to 1100 Road here. Where are we? Nope, not there yet. Sorry. So we get back on the road here, and we get to the 900 Road here. And this area, where are we here? So we come up here, there's the hill, then we come here. I've cut all these trees in here. I chopped them down with my chainsaw. They were all dead. Yeah. Chopped them.
Good firewood.
Yeah. I got good firewood right in this area here too. But where's my turn? Right? Be damned if that would be cool if that was me right there.
That's Dave whipping along on his ATV.
Right here in this turn, right here, this here is where my gifting site is. That's gifting site number 1, right there. And that is pretty damn cool. Then we continue on here. We go through here, through the marshes here. There's great views in here. But this corner right here in this spot, right here, there is a giant mud puddle right in there. And that mud puddle, that's where we always check for tracks.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so then let's zoom out here for a second. So we'll go back to the main road, this 1100 road right here, and we follow it to, where are we here? Which lake is this? Big Moose in this area. Big Moose in this area. I got to just find... Wish it gave the kilometers here, and I'm running out of time, so I'm like watching everything. By the way, get your questions ready in capital letters for the what do we do? The damn ball thing. Okay, so,
Magic 8 Ball.
Thank you. Where are we here?
Magic 8 Ball is amazingly accurate too.
It is weirdly accurate. So this is 1100 road here. This is where in this area here is where we end up meeting up with the wild horses.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had wild horses up there.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Well, they're feral, and then they turn wild, right?
Right.
Yeah. And then I wish I could find the plane crash here. I wish I could. I'm a little lost right now on the map.
Scary spot.
I'll try after the show. To find the
crash location.
The crash location, and show you where.
The really bad spot you shouldn't go to because there's bad juju there and it's guarded.
Yeah, you know the spot. That's the one.
That spot? Yeah, that spot.
Yeah,
yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
I go to spots like that too. I go camp in abandoned ghost towns and stuff too.
That's what I do, Duke. That's what I do.
Then the Sasquatch show up and go, "What the hell are you doing camping here, dumb human?"
I know. We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really want to remind you that if you've missed most of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read Shirky Poo's Newswire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and now on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. Well, it is that time once again where we shake things up and we get to the beautiful and talented Magic 8 Ball as we get ready for a little bit of prediction here. Now, our first question of the night, as we are still joined by Super Duke from World Bigfoot Radio, comes from Grantavius. And Grantavius is wondering, oh dear Magic 8 Ball, he's wanting to see where he has to go to see Sasquatch again. Well, we can't ask that because I could say 2 stones over from the left from the big tree. But let's change it a little bit. Will Grantavius see Bigfoot in...
Plan ahead this Valentine's Day with 1-800-Flowers.com. From first dibs on great deals to the best selection of Valentine's Day roses and guaranteed delivery. Don't wait to wow. Right now, 1-800-Flowers is offering 24 assorted roses for $39.99. Or upgrade to 24 red roses for $10 more. Get right to the romance this Valentine's and find the way to wow with 1-800-Flowers.com. To order, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in.
CareerBuilder is made for people who have that thing. You know, those superpowers that make you good at your job, the skills you bring to work. And CareerBuilder knows those skills make you right for other jobs too. Higher paying jobs with benefits, jobs you never thought of trying. Are you a people person? Work from home as a customer service rep? Are you organized and like driving? Become a delivery driver. You have the skills it takes, and CareerBuilder.com has the jobs to get you hired fast. Visit CareerBuilder.com.
2022. I think that's a fair question. And the answer is, not today, Sheriff. Not today, because it's too late right now, Grantavius. It's too late. Now let's change it up. Let's say, Grantavius, how about in spring? Spring through summer? You may rely on it. We're getting someplace here, Duke. You may rely on it.
Whoa.
Grantavius, you got to go back to your spot. Got to go back to your spot. You know where to go. You know where to go. All right, next question comes from Sovereign Farts here. And we don't use the word squooch in here. So, it's true, bad juju spots have aliens made me force. Okay, that makes no sense. Okay, you got no capital letters if it's not a question, if you don't mind. No, let's see here. Sandra, will Dave ever have a Sasquatch touch his hair? Well, if you look at Duke's hair, I mean, he's got that beautiful mane too. Signs point to yes, Sandra. Signs point to yes, that Sasquatch is going to ask me for some hair tips on a good shampoo and conditioner combination for the forest. All right. Race fan is wondering, will Dave be buying alcohol at the Las Vegas party?
Yeah.
All clear. Yep, my wallet is all clear after leaving Vegas in April. Yes. Eddie wants to know, is Dave a Sasquatch? Let's see here. My sources say no. That's pretty accurate. My sources say no. All right. Finally, some clarity from our Sovereign Farts here. Are bad juju spots guarded by alien-made force fields? Signs point to yes. Aliens are creating and holding the force fields of bad juju spots. What do you think there, Duke?
Well, thanks for uncovering that bit of information, Cosmic Fart Man. We never would have thought to ask that question.
Nope, not at all. All right, lovely Lynn LeBlanc is asking, will Dave get adopted by the Sasquatch? It is decidedly so. I think there's some... Dude, I think there's something to that. I think there is something to that.
That could be a cautionary note about what you should be doing in this new area that you're about to go into.
Yeah, no kidding.
Make sure you come back out again so we have more shows. Dave doesn't just vanish off the earth.
Right? You know what? My buddy has been tripping out about this area where he got a real uneasy feeling. Like, literally, I think he got zapped. Okay? Because when he left that area, he was fearful. He was feeling sick to his stomach. And last night, he said, he actually came to my office today, and he's like, Dave, I had a dream. And it was extremely clear. And I said, what was it about? He goes, you're not going to believe me. I said, dude, what do I do for a living? You know, I talk about woo, man. He goes, okay. He goes, I don't think those Sasquatch want me back in that area. I said, why? He goes, because they came to me in my dream last night and said, look, we're not there to harm you, but we don't want you in our area, so stay away.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of that before, Duke?
Actually, yes, I have. This does happen occasionally, and it takes somebody that's got fairly open, sort of like a psychic sort of mind anyway. But yeah, they can come right to you in your dreams and say, knock it off, go away.
Really?
Or they can send you other messages. No, they've done this to Robin McRae a bunch of times. Well, they'll show up and, hey, do this or don't do that, whatever the message it is they want to give to you.
Right. Grantavius is wondering, will Super Duke meet Bigfoot face to face this year? Thank goodness I can translate. All right. In hypersleep, I'm going to give it a little shake. I don't like it when it says in hypersleep. And the answer is, you may rely on it. Super Duke is going to share shaving tips with Sasquatch this year. Duke, are you ready for that?
I got him on camera plenty of times last year. I'd be surprised if I didn't get him at least once this year.
All right. Big J is wondering, should eating breakfast for dinner or dinner for breakfast be decriminalized? The answer is out of fuel. Try again later. In other words, Magic 8 Ball's like, come on, Big J. Like, ask us a question that, we want to do here. And let's see here. Chris Mo in Austria. Mighty 8 Ball. Hold on. Did aliens drop all the magnesium doo-doo people are talking about? That's a good question. Magnesium doo-doo.
Saucer poop.
My sources say no. Well, that's a little interesting. I wasn't expecting that.
Makes you wonder who's dropping it.
Well, I think some of it is alien. But, I mean, if the governments of the world are, retracing how these craft are run and making their own, just like an old Volkswagen, man, or an old Dodge Diesel, it has kickback. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, that actually makes more sense to me than that they'd have some kind of a system so ridiculous that they have to take a saucer poop every so often and drop magnesium out. I could see our copies of it doing something weird like that. That does make more sense, actually.
Grantavius, he's on a roll today. Getting lots of questions in. All right, question is, will Dave be in contact with extraterrestrials this year? Yes and beyond. Wonderful, you just got me abducted. Thank you for that, because that's all I really wanted this year was to be abducted by aliens. Thanks, Grantavius.
Poor Dave. Yeah, you're going to get abducted by Bigfoot and aliens this year, apparently. It's going to be a benchmark year.
They're going to be using me as a tug-of-war. And I'm going to be like, people, please. There's enough of me to go around. Just show me love.
If you could time it perfectly, Dave, they'll cancel each other out. Well, the Sasquatch are trying to abduct you and the aliens are trying to abduct you. They'll get into a fight with each other over who gets to abduct you, and you can escape while that's going on.
True. Worked for Albert Ostman. Sandra's wondering, will Sasquatch touch Joe's mane? Don't count on it. I think Sasquatch is fearful of Joe's mane. Thin Lizzy is asking, will Carl the alien show up soon?
Oh.
Answer is, out of fuel, try again later. You ever notice how many times that question gets asked? And it's almost every week. And I would say 90% of the time, 95% of the time, the out of fuel, try again later answer comes up.
Yeah, the 8 Ball dodges that question like it doesn't want to answer it.
Does not want to answer that question whatsoever. All right. Fabster, who arrived to our show chat room late, he was out cruising the bingo halls tonight. He's asking, will the Sasquatch and her boyfriend come after me even though it was her fault? Oh, Sasquatch. Infinitely yes. Look, Fab, if you're going to be hitting on female Sasquatch, you better make sure they're not taken. Their men are very jealous men. Very jealous men. I'm just saying. What am I supposed to say?
We should have never gave Fapster that Sasquatch call girl number.
No.
Don't be lonely, call Squatch only. Yeah, no, Fapster, no.
No, you don't want to be making that phone call. All right. Grantavius is wondering, will aliens make themselves known within the next 3 years? Now, as you see, I'm shaking the magic 8 ball, and I'm going to say, no, they will not. That's what I'm going to say. What's your answer, Duke?
I'm going with Dave on that one.
All right, here we go. The answer is infinitely yes.
Ooh.
Now, the question is, though, will they do it on a governmental level or on a personal level? Because I was thinking governmental level.
Well, that's what I was thinking of, too. Yeah. I mean, they're making themselves known on a personal level every day to certain people.
I know.
A small crowd that gets to go visit them, and sometimes they come back.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Duke, how about a question from you? Usually you got a question or two.
Okay, let's ask the Magic 8 Ball. Is there going to be any progress toward Sasquatch disclosure this year?
It is decidedly so.
Ooh, ah. Wasn't expecting that answer. I hope it's right.
Thin Lizzy wants to know, would Dave eat a breakfast burrito for dinner? In hypersleep, no. No. Dave will never eat breakfast foods for dinner. Ever.
Speaking of breakfast burritos, we always hypothesized that the Sasquatch that abducted Osman may have thought he was a burrito. Because, in a sleeping bag all curled up like that, looked like a big old burrito laying on the ground.
Now, I actually talked to a gentleman where he was telling me in the 1970s, he actually came on my old ghost tour. Maybe you've heard this story before. He actually came on my ghost tour. And his wife piped up and said, tell him about the Sasquatch story. And he's like, do you want to hear it? Yeah, come on. Of course I want to hear it.
Silly question.
And he was 18 years old, and him and his buddy drive up. And in between Whistler, and just north of Whistler and Pemberton, there are some beautiful lakes in there, man. And they're all stocked with very nice trout. So him and his buddy at 18 years old, they hop in the pickup and they go camping at one of these lakes along the highway. And about 1:30 in the morning, as they're sleeping in their tent, they said it felt like a forklift went underneath the tent and started lifting the tent. There was no sound, no nothing. And these two kind of collapsed in on each other as they were being picked up. And as they started kicking and screaming, whatever it was, just put them right back down. Didn't drop them. Put them right back down. And then they felt something leave underneath them and then kind of stomp off into the forest.
Wow.
Right? The following weekend, the one boy, his dad and his brother, they got a camper on the back of their single cab truck. And Dad is sleeping in the cab with the shotgun. They go back there because they want to see if they could get this thing, okay? And the boys are sleeping in the camper. And at about 1:30 in the morning, the truck starts rocking. Like it's being pushed back and forth, okay? Dad wakes up. Okay, what the hell is going on? Earthquake, or is there an avalanche or something going on? Gets up, opens up his door, sees what he thinks is a bear pushing on the truck, grabs a shotgun, blasts this thing in the shoulder. This thing goes absolutely nutball, roaring, and takes off on 2 feet running into the forest.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That would be bad. That would definitely, you'd have to check your underwear afterwards.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Duke, thank you so much for coming on Spaced Out Radio tonight. Really appreciate it, man. Tell everybody where they can find World Bigfoot Radio.
Well, you can find me over on YouTube, Righty, on BitChute, Odyssey, and Rumble, and you can find my groups on MeWe, World Bigfoot Central, and on Facebook, Montana Bigfoot Project.
Right on, buddy. Right on. We're going to get to Shirky Poo's news here. And this is how it ends. Oh, Shirky Poo's got us all done up for the news tonight because that is the type of lady that she is. And I'm going to tell you right now, poor Shirky Poo is not feeling well tonight, so she left the news to my responsibility. All right, here we go. Let's start off here with this one. A Hahnemann University Hospital in Pennsylvania went bankrupt in 2019. By now, its buildings are empty and the medical records have been transferred elsewhere, but there's one piece of the legacy that still lingers. What should they do about a woman who still has a nuclear-powered pacemaker in her chest cavity? We didn't know they made nuclear pacemakers either, but apparently they were a thing until the 80s. The anonymous woman received her pacemaker powered by plutonium-238 in 1975 when she was just 23. It functioned until 1995 when she received a more modern lithium battery-driven device. However, the doctors left the nuclear one inside of her. Removing it would have required extensive surgery, which could have endangered her life. The issue is that, according to Pennsylvania law, the Hahnemann Hospital is responsible for disposing of the radioactive device, but it won't be coming out of the woman until she dies, and the hospital no longer exists. So what do? Well, apparently, they got to take a step back and, figure it on out. The radioactive pacemakers are small, usually square, round, thin metal discs, roughly the size of a palm of someone's hand, and they do need to get their power from plutonium. I mean, could you imagine this lady walking through an airport? Holy cow. So I don't even know how they're going to get this out. So apparently they got to wait till she dies. Then they got to figure out what to do with the cadaver, considering she is radioactive. And apparently she can't even get dental x-rays. That's a big problem. That's a big problem to have. That is interesting. All right, let's see what else we got here. Okay. Let's see here. What else does Shirky Poo have for us tonight? Well, right here. Let's go with this one. Apparently, there's always a wide plethora of latest tips and tricks on best way to take care of your physical health, but this one talks about your eyesight as you're getting older. For younger people, it's perfectly acceptable to rarely, if ever, have a proper eye test from opticians, but as you get older, like me, blind as anything, the quality of your eyesight and the strength of your vision is important. So make sure you get checked for cataracts. Make sure that if you're the age of 60 or older, that you get your eyes checked at least 3 times as much light as you did when you were 20. So no sitting in the dark watching movies. Eat the right types of foods. This includes kale. I'm not eating kale. I'll go blind before I eat kale. That is reptile food. Apricots, okay. Oysters, not a chance. Spinach, gross. Eggs, only at breakfast. Wheat germ, no. Sweet potatoes, every day. Every day. Keep your eyes healthy that way. All right, let's see what else.
They didn't say carrots. Carrots have carotene. They're supposed to be good for your eyes.
Well, apparently, according to this study, carrots didn't make the list. What are you supposed to do, man? What are you supposed
Works
to do?
for bunnies.
Right? Works for bugs, exactly. Let's see if we can find one more story here. Here's an interesting one. All right. A man in Maine who lost his arm in an apparent workplace accident was seen carrying the severed limb before nearby public crew works rescued him. The unidentified man was seen stumbling along a street in Lewiston, Maine, toting his detached arm, which had been cut off near the shoulder. Public works crews in the area called police and emergency crews and fashioned a tourniquet while they waited for medics to arrive. That was probably the lifesaver, said Lieutenant Derek St. Laurent. Police followed a trail of blood to a local store where multiple people reported a man was wounded by a bandsaw accident. It happened to be divine intervention because 2 of my best guys just happened to be there sanding sidewalks. It couldn't have been 2 better guys in this situation. They saved this man's life. Oh, I could never imagine what it's like getting my arm severed. Oh, that just makes me...
Oh, my God.
That's just terrible.
I'm amazed he didn't bleed to death before somebody could do anything.
No kidding. No kidding. I just couldn't do it. Could not do it. All right.
Ugh.
I think that's about it for tonight, man.
Wow. Ouch. Sorry, that. Oh, my
Hold
God.
on.
Ow.
I got one more here. By the way, former Playboy cover model Elizabeth Marie Chevalier says that she just can't date anybody. Why? Because apparently she says she is too beautiful to date, and guys are scared of her because she's just so darn beautiful. How's that to end the night with some beautiful ego? Thank you so much to World Bigfoot Radio's Super Duke, to Shirky Poo for the news, and Miss Aida for being a wonderful guest tonight. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, at work, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAB, Revolution Radio, Spreaker, Facebook, and on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, we're watching. We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo Train has docked for the night. But soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Just don't let Sasquatch get you. Or them aliens. Good night.
Family. It looks a little different for everyone. For some, it's mom and dad. For others, roommates who feel like family. And for others, it's your significant other, their golfing buddies, your children, a high school soccer team starting lineup, and oh look, they're all taking you up on the offer to stay for dinner, really testing the limits of that phrase, the more the merrier. But no matter where you call home, Geico makes it easy to bundle and save on home and car insurance. Easier than making 3 frozen pizzas and assorted frozen veggies into a cohesive meal.
Plan ahead this Valentine's Day with 1-800-Flowers.com. From first dibs on great deals to the best selection of Valentine's Day roses and guaranteed delivery. Don't wait to wow. Right now, 1-800-Flowers is offering 24 assorted roses for $39.99. Or upgrade to 24 red roses for $10 more. Get right to the romance this Valentine's and find the way to wow with 1-800-Flowers.com. To order, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/tune in. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/tune in.